just say that. Tell me you did not just say that.
I couldn't believe it after I heard it myself. But, so I guess mistakes happen.
But constantly mistakes, it gets tiresome. Let me ask you a question quickly and then we'll move on. Speaking of the WWE title, who do you think AJ Styles' next competitor is going to be? Will there be a fourth Nakamura match? Or do you think somebody else is going to be coming into the mix now and challenging him for his WWE title?
Samoa Joe.
I'm glad you said that because that's exactly who I was going to say. Samoa Joe.
Yep. It's going to be Samoa Joe, and I think Samoa Joe will take the title from AJ.
Ooh, really?
And then there's going to be some kind of... There has to be some... The intertwining between AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan, and I gotta say The Miz. I keep supporting The Miz, but he's earned it, I think. I didn't think he's earned a spot. Who else are you going to throw in between those four? Big Cass hasn't earned anything to me.
What about Bobby Roode? Would you throw Bobby Roode in that
Bobby
mix?
Roode's still on Raw right now.
That's true. I forgot he got moved over.
And they've just done nothing with Bobby Roode since he's come up. It's just been a joke for him. So they need to turn him heel on Raw and fix his, character first, and then maybe throw him into the most important, title picture on Raw, and that's the Intercontinental Championship, because if you saw Seth Rollins and Elias last night, those two guys put on a clinic, and now after watching that match and seeing the last couple of matches that Elias is due. He has the crowd in the palm of his hand.
SummerSlam, maybe? For some reason, they like to wait till the big pay-per-views, which is unfortunate because you want to see something happen, not always at the big ones. Like, you don't want to see just SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Survivor Series. You want to see it happen, Extreme Rules, Money in the Bank, maybe a title change. I'm drawing a blank on pay-per-views right now, but you get what I'm saying. You get my gist of you want to see something, even on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. I would love to see a title change. I think that would bring more buzz to the shows, and people would start tuning in again saying, hey, WWE Championship just got changed hands on SmackDown Live.
Yeah, and let's not forget that there's someone that's been injured that hasn't returned yet and should be returning soon. Dean Ambrose. I mean, he'll be thrown into some picture, whether it's Intercontinental Championship or they put him back on SmackDown and put him in the WWE title picture, because let's be honest, when you have someone like Brock Lesnar never lose, you don't buy him being beaten by anyone.
Of course.
The only one that I could buy it is probably Braun Strowman, and he still lost to him. Mm-hmm. And they're taking all the big giants and they're putting them on SmackDown. Samoa Joe, Big Cass. So it's only up to Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman to really, fight Brock.
Yeah, I would have to agree. And the one thing I'm happy, though, is Braun Strowman's not like how the Big Show was kind of thrown in when after a while he won the championship, then after a while he turned to a comedy act. I'm hoping that's not the case with Braun Strowman. I mean, we saw a teaser a little bit with the whole tag team match, but now it seems like they kind of corrected what lane he was going into, and now he's back on course to get that WWE title shot and hopefully stay as the big monster among men that we so dearly hold to our hearts.
When you were a kid, did the Big Show get that big of a pop that Braun Strowman has?
No.
I don't think we have anything to worry about that. I think that now, what the pop that Braun Strowman's getting is the pop that they wanted for Roman Reigns. So now they need to kind of really put all of their, eggs in a basket and go full board behind Braun Strowman.
Speaking of Roman Reigns, did you watch the match between him and Jinder Mahal?
I had to go to the bathroom.
See, I decided to walk the dog at that time, and it's kind of upsetting that that's what it comes down to now. Anytime you see Roman Reigns, he's going to come out, that music hits, you kind of just groan, and you're like, here we go. We know what's going to happen. He's going to do the Superman punch. He's going to do the ooh, ah, and then do the spear, and then the 1, the 2, and the 3. And then what they really need to do so desperately. I didn't even hear. I heard the crowd was chanting horrible things when he was out that night. I heard them chanting CM Punk, we are scumbags. They really need to just turn him heel and be a loose cannon and just be himself and just cut promos the way he wants to cut promos. I think eventually people are going to get on board with him.
Yeah, they just need to really reevaluate the whole entire situation with Roman Reigns. I mean, throwing him in a match with Jinder Mahal, who's equally not liked as well, in Chicago, was probably not the best moves. I don't want to ruin the good things that the WWE has done with the pay-per-view for Money in the Bank. It was a really good pay-per-view, and they deserve the credit for doing a great event. And I mean, that's all I want to leave it at. A good event, and we could see hopefully much more improved events, but their minor leagues continuously, takeover after takeover, succeeds in putting together the best events, as the NXT Takeover in Chicago did. What an event from start to finish. When your, I guess, not best match is the women's title match between Shayna Baszler and Nikki Cross. And it was a good match too.
Oh, yes.
When that's not your best match, I mean, you can't complain at all about what we saw on Saturday night for NXT TakeOver. The women's title match was good. The championship match between Aleister Black and Lars Sullivan. Lars Sullivan is becoming a player in the heavyweight division for the NXT.
And the whole card was great. I mean, you even with you said Nikki Cross, you said the main event itself. I was in awe with the main event.
That is by far the best, I guess, storyline of this entire year. The best feud from start to finish has been Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. And I want to get more into that next week when we talk about feuds and best feuds, because this might go down as one of the best feuds in history.
You and I were texting each other back and forth throughout the night while we were watching the event, and when he removed the canvas and then removed the foam, showing all the planks, basically showing us first time what was under the ring. And you and I were like, wow, I didn't even know those were under the ring. We were just at awe. And even the finish, I mean, everybody thought, okay, he's handcuffed now. Johnny has him. He's going to finish the match. And then all of a sudden, DDT out of nowhere. And then 1, 2, 3. I was so happy the way it went down.
I was texting you the entire night, and you know how mad I was. I wasn't mad at the way they finished it or how they did it, but the storyline itself. Like, I haven't been that into that since, I guess, the Attitude Era. Like, it drew me in, man.
It felt like an Attitude Era match. That's what exactly it felt like to me.
What a great story. And like I said, we'll talk more about that match next week in our big episode where we talk about the best feuds in wrestling history.
How about Ricochet versus the Velveteen Dream?
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, there's talks already now. There's rumors saying that Velveteen Dream is going to be called up soon. Honestly, I hope it doesn't happen because he has so much potential right now. And just his charisma and his in-the-ring performance, it's just phenomenal just watching him and just playing this character out and as how he's like this deep, dark prince wannabe guy. I mean, that's the best thing I can say. But even Ricochet with his high-flying moves, that superplex off the top rope that Velveteen Dream did to him, I couldn't believe both men were standing by the end of the match.
Yeah, Ricochet and the Dream really put on one heck of a match. And how about Velveteen Dream's outfit, the Hulk Hogan? he wore the Hulk Hogan shirt and bandana, but he wore Ricochet's pants, as I guess when he was doing the independent scene.
Even after that match and after the whole card, went back to YouTube and watched him when he did the whole Tough Enough extravaganza, I guess you could say, and then when he was voted off. And just watching him then and now, I mean, he's the whole deal, man.
But he also went through characters in NXT as well. He wasn't always Velveteen Dream. I guess that was his that was his last, I don't want to say chance, but he wasn't always Velveteen Dream in NXT.
Yeah.
But Ricochet too, he's just, I don't even know how to explain that skill set that Ricochet has. He is definitely championship material. And I'm not talking about cruiserweight champion or intercontinental champion, but I think he could be a heavyweight champion someday.
Oh, I agree. As long as he's used correctly and, like you said, he's not brought up too soon and then thrown in like 205 or as a cruiserweight number one contender. I think the sky's the limit for Ricochet. And what about the first match of the night?
That's the match that stole the show.
Which one?
The tag team match.
The tag team match?
Because we all knew what we were getting when Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa were going to fight. You knew it, but I didn't expect such a great match from the tag team division from Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly against Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. I mean, we all know what Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong bring to the table, but no one was buying into Oney and Danny Burch, and they really did a great job. They stole in a couple of spots. I thought Oney almost died falling off the top rope and hitting right on the apron, but those two guys were hated the entire match, and then the fans started getting into it.
Yeah, like you said, with the whole Undisputed Era, Roderick Strong now, as a heel, he is so good. I mean, he's so cocky and arrogant now, part of the Undisputed Era, and it's just refreshing seeing him join the band of merry men, I guess you could say.
Yeah, his character really seems to have come out now. I mean, you didn't know where they were going with Roderick Strong as a face, and it just seemed like, you know, opportunity after opportunity he would get, and he'd be played off as this guy who's an underdog, and he'd fight his way to the top, and he would never win the title. And he joins the Undisputed Era, and it's a different character we're getting from him. He is way better heelish than he is as the face.
So let me ask you quickly, since we basically broke down, I'd say 80% of both shows, is NXT the superior show in the WWE
of
right now?
Of course. No doubt about it.
I agree 100%.
No doubt about it. I watch every Saturday that they have a takeover. I'm going to be glued to the television.
It's just so good. I mean, and it's not drawn out. Like, no disrespect to WWE, no disrespect to the main roster, but when you have a show going from 7 o'clock at night, not even including the pre-show and the kickoff show, going to almost after, 15 minutes, 20 minutes after 11? After a while, it drags on and on and on.
WrestleMania ending at midnight, like, it's just way, way, way too long. Here you got about 5 or 6 matches, and it was about 2.5 hours, and it was just enough that I needed.
And just high-quality wrestling, just giving you, like you said, the amount that you needed, the fix that you needed, and leaving. Once the show went off, you were extremely satisfied, and you couldn't wait till the next NXT Takeover.
Yep.
And one more quick thing, and then we'll go to break. Did you see the Drew McIntyre tweet?
I got it right here, man. He laid it on the Raw roster. He goes, I suggest the Raw roster checks out NXT Takeover tonight. Ask yourself if you're working hard enough and truly deserve to be a part of the #1 roster in the world. If the answer is no, this show will be a harsh wake-up call of the talent coming for you if we don't eliminate you first. Thank you, Drew McIntyre.
Strong words.
This guy is championship material. We've
100%.
said it since he was in NXT that this guy needs to be the heavyweight champion eventually.
And it almost seems like it's kind of cryptic. It's almost saying, listen, main roster, your days are numbered. NXT roster's coming for you. Now, could this be a new invasion angle? Could this be a bunch of wrestlers just coming up, forming a stable? We don't know, but only time can tell. Let's take a quick break.
Speaking of stables.
What about stables? Do tell.
No, you do tell, man, because you mentioned this last week.
Oh, that's right. Thank you for refreshing my memory. Last week we saw in the news that the NWO trademark was basically revived and reissued. The trademark is up and running, good to go, back in business, so to speak.
New World Order.
So when we come back, we're going to discuss New World Order. This is just a possible. What would happen if the New World Order was revived in the WWE? We'll talk about that when we come back here on Ringside Rumble Radio. Back in a minute.